welcome. If you live it, newcomers, first timers, subscribers, we are here at a conversation of diving deeper into experiencing willingness. Step 7, chapter 7 of the book, If You Live It. We're going deeper. We're diving in. Let's get busy. This is a big chapter. This is an exciting time for me to be delivering this information to you because this chapter is about motivation. This chapter is about your life being something utterly different than you ever thought it could be if you've worked these steps up until this point. And again, this entire program, If You Live It, is about using the 12 steps originally created for Alcoholics Anonymous to help you transcend your ego, to overcome fear in all its forms, to move towards being love for the world, unconditional love for the world. This is a pathway, not the only pathway, for you to have a definable way to work off past karma, to work off the baggage of being a human, to leave it at the door, to move into a new world, into a new life with an opportunity to experience it subjectively different than you ever have to date. I'm Mason Wooldridge. I'm the author of If You Live It, the creator of this platform, the purveyor of whatever truth comes to you. But it is not Mason who's delivering this message. This message has been surrendered over to the will of God, that the words coming to you may be for you and will have nothing to do with the person bringing them to you. It's exciting. In chapter 1, 2, and 3, steps 1, 2, and 3, we practiced and we saw and we used and we worked through and we embodied surrender. We gave you a definable pathway. When you hear surrender things over, just let go. What does that mean? Go back to steps 1, 2, and 3. It is a full process of how you actually do these things in practice. Then we move into steps 4, 5, 6. Now we arrive at 7, and we're getting in the heart of forgiveness. As we move into 8 and 9, we will finish the forgiveness portion of this particular program where we will have learned and put into practice how to surrender, what it is, what it isn't, what it looks like, how you do it, how to forgive, what it is, what it isn't, what it looks like, how you do it. And then we move into a world of gratitude, how you maintain an upwards trajectory, a growth towards, an evolution towards the greatest adventure of all time, which is finding out for yourself if God is real. Now, when you move into this level of willingness, which is characterized by motivation, which we'll get into further, you move past that. You move into a world of acceptance. You move into a world of where you move through the intellect into a world where you transcend even the mind as being that which you think you are, into an experience and subjective reality of the world around you where all you see is love, where what's coming from you is love, where you are love for the world, into an opportunity to continue growing upwards towards God in a way where consciousness defines itself inward and out through you as that of unconditional love, characterized by forgive them for they know not what they do, moving into the opportunity for sainthood, for Christhood, for Buddhahood, all the way to the final doorway of enlightenment, where you have the opportunity to take this pathway and use it to not have to come back here again, to not have to do this again, to not have to be a slave to the world, to learn how to be in the world but not of it, how to live your life like a prayer. This is a pathway you can take, you can use, you can make it your own, but it doesn't happen if you don't work the steps. If you're finding this video as the first video, If You Live It is an entire platform of exactly what we just said. It's an entire platform where you can take the words of Krishna found in the Bhagavad Gita and you can actually know how to do them, to experience the realities of what Krishna said, how you can actually experience heaven on earth and embody the words of Jesus the Christ, how you can let go of your attachments and your aversions to the world, transcend rebirth, and actually be one and understand and come from a place of knowingness of that the Buddha was not speaking offhand, and so on and so forth, forever and ad infinitum. You have an opportunity here with this pathway, moving into this step, where your life can change forever. If you are searching for a way to let go of the baggage of life, to move on from past hurts, to move on from guilt and grief and remorse, depressive states, anxiety, apathy, all these forms of fear, if you're looking for a way to take this life to a place that you had maybe only dreamed as possible, if you are just needing happiness or you're hoping for some joy or some relief of the suffering of what's going on around you and how you feel internally about it. If you're looking for a way to let go of your opinions, to stop ruminating about things, to be able to fall asleep without your mind racing, to be able to wake up and be excited for the day, if you live it as a pathway for that. If you live it as a pathway where we use the mind, we go through it. Where we use the heart, we embody it. Where we become service to mankind, where we serve God by serving our fellow man, by serving our spouses, our friends, our pets, our lives, our jobs, our employers. It's a pathway of service. It's a pathway of the heart. It's a pathway of devotion. It's a pathway of meditation. We take all of the different ways that you could find, all the different yogas that you could use to find truth in the world in abundance, and they're all part of the same program. Thank you for being here. I hope you stay with us. I hope you go back and check out other things. This channel, this page, these videos are growing by leaps and bounds. At the time of recording this, we're over 15,000 subscribers to the page, and it continues to grow every day, every week. A year from now, no telling where it'll be. A week from now, no telling where it'll be. A month from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, no telling where it'll be. Hopefully, we'll be in person live where you are. Hopefully, this thing will allow us, once the books are out, and once we're able to have a source of income from this in some way or particular, we'll be able to go around the world and bring this message directly to you. Launch groups in your community that you run because of your experience with God. This is not about making money. This is not about some type of thing to get rich. This is not about regurgitating reused information and proclaiming that it's my own. This has nothing to do with any of that. All of this is free. This entire experiment that we're doing right here is me delivering you an entire book and information around an entire book for free before it ever comes for sale, online, available for free for always, forever. I don't care if you buy a book. I don't care if you attend an opportunity where we get together. I don't care if you do any of that. I don't care if you don't ever do anything but specifically look at this video in a way that says, I do choose more love in this life. I do choose more truth in this life. I do choose more opportunity in this life. I choose God, even if I don't know what that means, even if I don't like that word, even if I'm scared of it, even if I have been wronged by religion in the past, if I've been hurt by those who call themselves religion in the past. This is not religion. This is practical spirituality. This is applying spiritual principles in your life for the purpose of transcending those fears, those hurts, those worries. I'm not asking for anything from you. I'm not telling you to follow me. I don't care what you do. The entire reason I'm delivering this to you and allowing this to come through to you is because this is the way that I serve God. I serve God by serving you in this particular way. I serve God by serving my spouse, my wife, my child, my dogs, my home, my employers, my world around me. I serve God by letting go of my opinions and my attachments and my aversions on a regular basis. I serve God by applying these steps in my life regularly around the clock. I serve God by being surrender, being forgiveness, coming from a place of gratitude, allowing God to use this body, to use energy coming through this body to provide it for those who need it. I want nothing from you. I need nothing from you. Not a single person ever watches these again. Doesn't matter to me. They'll be online. They'll be free. They'll be available to you. And I've done my part to play. I've said, yes, Lord. Okay. I hear you. I'm delivering this. I'm getting out of the way. I'm letting you provide these messages. We're putting this information online so that it can be a resource of light forever. So let's get into willingness. Chapter 7. If you live it. Step 7. What is it? What is willingness? Why is it important? What came before it? Let's look at that. We have looked at transcending apathy, shame, grief, guilt, fears in every form, desire, pride, anger, envy, cravingness, desiringness, wantingness. We've moved into a world where courage embodied, looking back over our life at the Fearless and Moral Inventory, where we moved into a lens of neutrality, where life is okay either way that it goes. Whatever happens, up, down, left, right, in, out, doesn't matter. We're good with it. Now we're into willingness. We're into a place of motivation. We're into a place where what you are is actually that which can start creating change in the world around you in an immense way, because what you resonate with is what you actually are, is what you see in others. This thing of life, of being a human, is determinate based on our experience inward out. Our perception of how we feel, how we see, how we think, what happens within us is how we see the world around us. And when you apply the backdrop, a contextual understanding of consciousness as part of this definable pathway towards God, and you understand that no matter where you are, you fall on some line of this level of consciousness as depicted and created by Dr. David R. Hawkins, not by myself. You start seeing that how you see the world, how you see God, how you operate in it, what you see out around you, how you forgive, your imprint you live on this world is all having to do with where you're coming from a particular level of consciousness. All things fall on a level and linear progression of consciousness, which is the way we experience being human. It's the way we experience this reality. It's determinant of our happiness, our connectedness, our usefulness, how much peace we have, how much fear we feel. Where you fall on this is how you operate in the world. It's how you see the world. And willingness is where we find ourselves with this step. Chapter 7, step 7, if you live it, is about reaching a place where we have looked back at our life. We've surrendered over our life. We've given what we've found to God. And now we're asking in step 7, we're legitimately saying, Lord, I give it to you. Please remove these defects of character. Please take this baggage and allow me to start fresh. And that's what happens. You apply a little bit of faith to this step. The work that you've done up until this point all coalesces into what you see at step 7 when you finish it moving into 8, 9, which is transformative, step 8, 9. Those steps are another place where aha moment after miracle, after synchronicity, after blessing, after joyous encounter will come and will continue to happen. It is impossible if you've worked these steps up until this point and you've reached this state of willingness, you've reached this place where you are willing to let go of the baggage of your life in order to see what comes next. You're willing to apply faith that even though I don't know what will come from this, I have the faith that if I give this to God, these things will be removed and I will be fresh. You have a whole new lens for the world. If you're here and you're saying, something I've always wanted to be for the world is that which helps motivate positive change in the world. If you're here because you've resonated with the words of Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. If you're here because you're saying, how do I know more about God? How do I allow more love to come through me? How do I just be something greater than what it is I feel that I am in this particular moment? You found a wonderful place if you live it, free of judgment. Don't care who you are, what you look like, where you come from, what you've done, what you haven't done. If you feel stuck, if you're already floating in the clouds, this place is a blessing for you. It's a gift for you. So willingness. Willingness is motivation. Willingness is the person that feels called to be the police officer, the firefighter. It's the CEO within the company that helps the company grow, not through taking, but through giving. It's connecting with a why you're doing something, why you're part of something. It's having a why be greater than the what. The great book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why, is a great place and a great example of what willingness is, of what the power that can come through you is at this particular level. Willingness is saying yes to God, even when requests seem out of the ordinary. 8 years ago, this entire life changed with a gift and a blessing that we've talked about in previous episodes. We'll talk about it again in future episodes. And what came from that was this upward progression towards the realization of the self, culminating in a moment in time that forever changed this experience of this person delivering this information to you. And in that initial 6 months of what felt like a jumpstart of this spiritual battery inside this person, reconnecting this entity talking to you with a power far greater than itself is the reality for all that is in and around this being and all things taking place simultaneously here and otherwise. Things and requests were starting to be made of it that seems crazy. Give away this, be free of this, let go of this, forgive this, go here and do this. And every time there was the hesitancy, there was the humanness part that said, this is crazy. What will this person think? What will these people think? I want to share one of these experiences with you. I was asked to leave the Midwest where I was residing 7.5, 8 years ago, and to get in an RV and travel around the country for the purpose of a book tour, for the purpose of spreading a message of a job that I do to make money during the day. And in that process, I had accumulated a life's worth of things in an apartment, TVs, video game consoles, clothes, cookware, you name it, an entire life's worth of things, watches, hats, shoes, equipment. I mean, an incredible amount of stuff. And one of the things that I was asked to do was to give it all away. All the furniture, everything, give it away. Keep 3 of everything. Keep 3 shirts, 3 pants, 3 shoes, 3 socks, 3 underwear, 3 hats, 3 sweatshirts, 3 jackets. Other than the threes, give it all away. And so I said, okay, Lord, how do I do that? And God said, I'll do it for you. Just be ready to give it away. And so with a month left before I was departing, before this RV had been provided for me out of nowhere, before life was about to change forever in a way that I had no idea what was actually about to take place, where faith had to be applied to even listen to that, to be quite honest. Other stories for other days, but get ready to give it all away. And I said, okay. So I resigned to saying, yes, Lord, I'll give it away. A month left before I leave. No opportunity had arisen to give anything away. I had called Salvation Armies. I had called around who could take stuff. And everybody had kind of stonewalled me. And I said, okay, Lord, well, I guess you're going to do something pretty miraculous. Week passes. Okay, Lord, 3 weeks. What do you want me to do with all this stuff? 2 weeks. I was at a particular meeting. And I arrived to this meeting about an hour early to walk my dog and to spend some time with my dog, Riggins. And up walks a young lady who I knew, who was also going to a particular meeting. And she walks up to me and I say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What are you doing here so early? She says, I don't know. I was at work and all of a sudden I just felt called to be here. I said, cool. So what's going on? She said, I have to share with you something that's miraculous that's taking place in my life. I said, gosh, go ahead. What's up? She said, I didn't think it would happen this fast, but I have an opportunity to get an apartment and start my life over. And this young lady and myself, we had both burnt our lives down through being alcoholics. We both found ourselves at a place where miracles weren't something we were accustomed to, but in working these steps from the lens of alcohol, being an alcoholic, is where I first came into these steps before they became part of this book and this expedition with you. We had started to see miracles change in our lives. And she was sharing one with me. She said, I got an apartment. I don't even have credit. I don't know what happened. I said, wow, that's amazing. So what's the problem? She goes, I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to get a bed. I don't know how I'm going to have anything. I don't have anything other than I got this apartment. And she was almost in tears with the joy that she had for this blessing and wondering how she was going to even be able to live in this apartment. And I said, thank you, Lord. And I told her, I said, hey, I have an entire apartment's worth of things. Do you want anything? And she first looked at me like I was crazy. I said, you weren't brought here by an accident. It wasn't something urging you inside of you to come to something an hour early when you never really come to these things an hour early. You weren't just at work and all of a sudden had an urge to be here and think that what I'm telling you is crazy. I said, let me tell you what God has put on my heart recently and where I am. And I said, you can have it all. And she looked at me again, as I'm crazy, and said, what do you mean all? I said, do you need a bed? Yes. You need cookware? Yes. You need a TV? Yes. You need rugs? Yes. You need a coffee stand? Yes. You need a Blu-ray player? Yes. You want a video game system? Yes. You need towels? Yes. You can have it all. Armchairs, sofas? Yes. And everything was given away. Saying yes is willingness. When have you said yes to God recently that sounded crazy and seen a miracle arise? When has there been an urging inside of you to give away what you have and you didn't listen to it, and therefore just let the moment pass? How many times in your life has God put something on your heart to move closer to God and you said no to it? We say no to God every time we judge someone. We say no to God every time we hold a resentment, every time we don't forgive, every time we believe we are our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, every time that we would rather talk about someone behind their back than to look at who it is we are that is showing us what we don't like in this person based on the reflection we're seeing back about ourselves. How many times have you laughed at something because you didn't understand it? How many times have you judged religion based on the people of the religion, not of the God that people did their best to point towards in through the religion. You can let all that go. You can say yes. You can be willing. You can find yourself at a place where you say yes to God and you get to be part of miracles like that. Miracles for yourself to see the reality that you're not crazy. See the reality of how God operates in this world, how God provides for those who are faithful. And what is faith? Faith is not just jumping off a bridge thinking that God's going to catch you or an angel's going to be presented to you. Faith is saying, yes, God, even though I don't understand why I'm saying yes. It's saying yes to the fact that I want more truth in my life. I want to connect with you. I want to know that you're real. I want everything possible that is in this life that is separating from me from you to be removed. It's having enough courage to be to a place where you can say, I'm going to choose to believe what you're saying, that there is a life that's possible for me that I don't understand now, and move towards that and make decisions, apply a pathway, whatever that pathway is, to moving closer to truth, closer to God, saying yes to the next most loving thing around the clock, surrendering over all your fears, all your apprehensions, not trying to change them, not trying to run away from them, forgiving your parents, forgiving your spouse, forgiving your ex, forgiving your mother-in-law, forgiving your father-in-law, forgiving the government, forgiving the world, forgiving God, forgiving yourself. Willingness is the jump-off point towards miracles for yourself, for the world around you. God is always present, never not God. This entire thing is God. You, this, the video, the words, looking around where you are, the coffee shop, the sidewalk, the park, the river, the sky, the rain, the sunshine, love, intimacy, sexuality. It's all God. How we operate within it is what connects us to a power greater than ourselves, that has us coming from a place of willingness and love, not using another, not trying to get, but giving, being of service, surrendering over all as a sacrifice to Thee, constantly around the clock. It's how you move closer to God. Not lying, not cheating, not stealing. And if you are doing those things, stopping those. And if you have guilt over that, have a simple regret that allows you to say to yourself, if I had known better, I would have done better. From this point forward, I will do better. That's this program. That's if you live it. That's God. God is not judging you. God is not over there somewhere else waiting for you to get there so you can be stoned because of past behavior. God is not vengeful, wrathful, judgmental. That's human characteristics. It's not characteristics of God. Religions like to point towards God clearing entire cities because of nonsense. That's not God. God does not flood the world to rid it of God's creation because of it being evil. That's mankind. You're in a perfect place right now in this moment to experience the reality of God if you so choose it, to be born again, born anew in this moment. By simply saying, God, I choose you. I don't know what that looks like. Please continue to show me how I would even continue to choose you past this moment. It means putting down the drink, putting down the drugs, putting down the desire to steal from, to take. If you simply just say, from this point forward, I am going to give in every moment, that will take you all the way to God. If you simply say, from this moment forward, I will choose the most loving thing to do for myself, the world around me, that will take you all the way to God. If you use this pathway to look back and learn how to, and then practice surrender, forgiveness, and gratitude, that will take you all the way to God. If you practice the actual tenets, if you become service to the world, as Jesus talks about, that will take you all the way to God. Thank you for being here. I hope something was of value to you in this particular episode, whether you're hearing this, listening to this, watching this. If you haven't worked these steps, if you haven't looked at ifyouliveit.com to see this free resource provided to you in content form, and daily devotionals, and everything else that will come from it, meetings that will be starting in April 2025, the books that will become available to you that you can have in your hand, watching these, subscribing, becoming a subscriber of the website so you get the blog sent to you, Dive into this. Dive into the world of David R. Hawkins. Dive into the world of the Bhagavad Gita. Dive into the world of the Upanishads. Dive into the world of the Gospels. Dive into the world of the Tao Te Ching. Dive into the world of the noble truths and the Eightfold Path. Dive into this thing of spirituality so you can have your own experience with being the change. Not listening about it, talking about it, ruminating on it, being it for you and for the world around you.